All right. If you are worried about a market crash and you want to know how to know if we're going to be in a market crash, here is how to find out. I'm going to show you what ticker actually has a huge influence, what metrics to look at. But before I tell you that, I want to go over the wins for the day. I haven't posted any wins here in the community, which you could join in the link below. It's free. It's free community. Um, and it's been 10 days of just active managing positions. That's really much it. There's really nothing else to it. It's we're entering a couple months that like August and September are months that are tricky. They're slow, but they could be tricky because they could be downtrends as well too, historically. But as like this post says, like we closed our SPY calls at 30%. We had HIMS calls that we closed at break even. Oscar call was 6% ROI, but we're back in it because it's actually really strong for it relative to the S&P 500. MU calls we closed at 44%. MU is interesting. I might have closed a little bit too early there, but it's still pretty strong right now. Sound calls, we closed for 12%, but the shares also closed at 3.52%. Zeta, we cut it out. It was the only loss, which was two positions on it. Calls were 25% loss. The shares were a minus 5% loss. And then Upstart, we didn't trim. We actually cut the entire position at 3.47% because it lost P-trans level that is given from Gextron. Okay, so like I said here, the last 10 days have just been about active management, locking in gains, cutting losers, keeping capital flowing, make sure that we have enough capital during this tough September month. Okay, and that's what I actually recommend you do. Just preserve your capital, be very conservative. We will see higher highs, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. At least what I believe it's going to be, and it's not because of my feelings or this or that. It's just because Gextron is telling me the data here. But let's go over that right now, right? So here is the ticker that has been influencing SPY and QQQ more than Apple, Nvidia. Nvidia has such a grip on the market. It's almost like the king of the market. Like if Nvidia goes down, so will the market. If Nvidia goes higher, so will the market. It's really hard to for the market to go up when Nvidia is coming down. Which it has been kind of doing that. It's been out of sync for the last couple of days, but it looks like it's getting back into sync here. Now, here is there's a lot of fear about September being the worst month of the year, which is historically true. But in my opinion, I think we're almost hitting a bottom. And I'm going to explain to you why I believe that. Knowing that NVIDIA it has such a grip on the market sentiment and like the price direction as well too. Here is the monthly expected price targets that is given by Gextron. Actually, let's just pull that up real quick here. I'm going to look up NVIDIA here. Now, I said I marked these levels earlier, and all I did was just go to the September expiration. I went for the month, right? And then I looked for the September expiration here. If you see this craziness, because there's a lot of activity going on in the market right now. And I marked here, I just got the top and the bottom ranges. Gextron is doing its own calculations based on the option pricing that there is for the market. And it's telling you by this end of the month, it's expected to kind of see between 153 and 178 price range. Okay. Securities move in ranges based on implied volatility. Once that has been met, most of the time, it's typically a good reversal moment. Okay. And as of right now, I marked it here. Let me see if that's changed. It said 153. Okay, close enough. I had 153.37. That's what I marked this morning. And for the top was 177.23. Now, you can see here that it looks like on this daily time frame, it's very possible that NVIDIA may be going down to the bottom of this expected bottom price target. Does this mean it's a market crash? No. It just means that if NVIDIA does come all the way down here and stabilizes, it has a high probability of then going back higher. But by the time this range gets hit, I'm actually going to be looking at the price target levels again, because again, this is all taking into consideration the Greeks. Okay. And so as we get closer to the end of the month, there's less uncertainty and more certainty, making the ranges smaller and smaller, right? So it doesn't, and for now, that's just that, right? So if we do hit this bottom, then I'm going to reevaluate what the top range is for the end of the month. But if we just scope out, this is really bullish. This is just basic market structure right here. If you look at basic market price action structure, like this is just really bullish, right? It would be something like this, in my opinion. Does it have to be like this? Absolutely. Absolutely not. Can it go lower than the monthly expected price target? Of course it can. Anything can happen in the market. Now, with that being said, that is what I believe is going to happen. And nonetheless, NVIDIA is still a strong company nonetheless. Every earnings report that they come out with, it's just growth and growth. We are in an AI bubble, and they are providing these GPUs, and they're always going to be a strong company for now, right? I don't know how long that's going to last, but for now, it looks like forever. And so if it hits this bottom and it starts making that marks a higher low, then potentially we can see higher, which would again influence the entire market. It would influence QQQ, which would influence tech, and tech would influence S&P 500, and so on. Okay. If we take a look at SPY, I want to show you this as well too. I marked the levels for the bottom and the top for the month of September for SPY. As of right now, we are holding above this P-trans level. Okay, if you know anything about Gextron here, let's open up SPY here. I'm gonna actually just open up the regular chart here. This is price levels for SPY, and you can see here that P-trans is just the first positive bar, and the next three bars to the right have to be positive. So P-trans in this case is 646. And what this tells me is that as long as we are above 646 for price action on SPY, we are in a bullish zone, bullish environment. That doesn't mean that it's always going to go up. There's going to be levels of resistance, which is what these tall bars are, whether they're positive or negative. In this case, we have 650, which is a tall bar. It's going to be a big level of resistance. We did hit above it earlier this morning, but we got rejected, right? This has stayed true. This has been the biggest resistance level for the last couple of weeks. And you can see here that we did tap into it and we rejected. Does it mean that we can't go above it? No, that doesn't mean that. It just means it's a big level of resistance for now. Until the market flow and the option orders are coming in and saying, hey, we're going to drive this higher and higher, this can totally change, right? And price action can go higher. So that is all that means. But as long as we are above 646, we are in a bullish environment zone. That's it. Unless it gets below 645 right now, okay, 645 is entrance level. That's what we call it in the Telegram group. It's just a signal that, hey, we are entering a put dominated zone, right? So it could be pretty bearish. And so this, just like P-trans, it has to be the first negative bar, and the next bar, 3 bars to the left, have to be negative. So in this case, it's first negative bar 645, and then 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So that first one, 645, is entrance level, and I have that marked here on my levels, I believe. So we are kind of hovering somewhere in the middle, right? It's struggling here. We can see that here in the last couple hours, it's been struggling here. Okay, now I want to show you another chart here called the Gamma Profile chart. This is an interesting chart that Gextron has that I look at all the time, and it lets me know if we are going to be entering a really volatile stage, or if we're just in a stable market. Okay, and so the way you read this chart is simple. There's a gamma flip point value, 644. And what Gextron is telling you here is that as long as we are above 644, the market will be stable. Yes, we're going to have these crazy, this is totally possible where we have these massive sell-offs in the morning, but it doesn't mean that it's bearish. It's going to get bought back up because we are in a very gamma positive zone. Okay, so AKA positive zone. It's sell the rips, buy the dips. Okay, that's the kind of mentality. If we get below 644, then things start to get volatile. This means intense selling pressure. This also means intense buying. Okay, so for both sides, and that can cause a lot of volatility in the market. Very, very violent swings to the upside and to the downside, and unpredictable. Okay, so but when I look at this chart and I'm like, are we gonna enter a market crash? The answer is no, not yet. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It doesn't mean we can't enter a correction phase, but we're still above 644. And if I look at price action right now, it's 645.56. So we're still above 644 level. To me, we're still okay. Okay. And this is a better sign if you look at the daily time frames too. Did the daily time frame close below the gamma flip point or above it? Okay, that's the big question. So that's what I'll be watching for the next couple of days here, for here until next week, because we have a lot of uncertainty with FOMC, the interest rate cuts. But in my opinion, I'm just sticking with the data. Actually, it's not even my opinion. It's Gextron's forecasting. Okay, so it's not my opinion. It's not what I believe or what I think should be. It's what just Gextron is telling me. So Gextron is right now telling us there is no market crash. There is no correction at the moment until it gets below 644. If it could get below 644, then we have these bands here that could tell us how low is it possible for it to go. It could potentially be 630. It could be potentially 605. But also, just like I said, and it's not my opinion, this is just Gextron doing its calculations. If it does get below 644, it's possible that it's going to see 629 by the end of the month. Somewhere between now and the end of the month. Very possible. If it doesn't get below P trans or N trans, it stays above P trans, and we stay above this gamma flip point, then it's possible that it could hit 662.20 by the end of the month, or somewhere between now and the end of the month. Okay. This will be a tough month, and what I would recommend you do is just stay heavy in cash, size small. Don't be afraid of taking trades. Take as many as you possibly can, but with small amounts. Right? Give yourself the probability to come out profitable for the month of September. And that's it. If you have any questions on Gextron, if you want to access Gextron, join the community. There's a link in the description. Let me know, because I'm doing this in batches of 10. I will be releasing the next set of invite codes here in the next couple weeks. And if you want to trade with me, there's a link in the description as well too, so you can trade with us, know when we get in and get out of trades. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you in the next video.